Hi guys, I'm recording this a bit late, but I don't think it can be a problem because I streamed the other day, so it wasn't too bad. Right, okay, I'm going to do a video. Oh, I'm actually going to combine two videos today because they're actually linked, which is being the first person in my family to have a degree and about people dropping out of college and university to pursue YouTube. I will deal with the first one first, which is being the first in the family to get a degree. As far as I'm aware, from my grandparents, my parents, and then me, my level, I was the first. On my mum's side, I could be wrong. Some of my cousins in Wales, some of my older cousins, might have a degree, but I'm not 100% sure. I think my cousin Chris does, but he was raised by a different family. It's weird because we have a really weird family dynamic, so like I say, it's weird. But in respect to, especially my father's side, as far as I'm aware, nobody else has a degree on my father's side. Don't know what my stepsister's done, but I don't think she might have got a degree later on in life. But like I said, I don't really speak to them much. But as far as I'm aware, I am. My mum raised me pretty much on her own with my brother. We had limited visits with my father, and she basically pushed me to be the best that I could. She did the same with both of us, but unfortunately my brother kind of went off the rails at one point. He's extremely talented in drawing. He's great at drawing. He applied to join the RAF, but he failed. I think it was because of his eyesight, and he refused to get glasses or have any corrective surgery at the time, so he didn't go any further with that. He's now 39. I went. Americans, this might be a bit confusing for you guys. I think the Australians know how our system works. And the Canadians might get a bit confused. We have primary school, which is 4 to 11. Then we have secondary school, which is 11 till 16. Then we have college, which is different than American college, which is 16 till 18. But you can go to college at any stage. And then I went to university from 18 to 20. So I graduated in the June, and then in the August, 2 months later, was my 21st birthday. So as you can imagine, it was I pretty much did one back to back. When I was at primary school, one of my teachers who I became friends with after I left school, she pretty much, it was a small school at the time. It's not as small as it was now, but at that point I think there was 12 people per year. And the weird thing was my stepbrother was in the same year as me because there's only 10 months between us. His birthday's October, November, and mine's the following August, so we're in the same academic year, so to speak. So there was like 11, 12 people in our year, so it was a very small school, but she'd teach 2 years at the same time, which worked. And she could see that I was intelligent, but she didn't quite realise at the time what was going on. All the way through secondary school, nobody twigged. The things they did twig was that I was reasonably good at art, and I was extremely good at science. So they pushed me to do the higher paper, and I was glad that they did. And then one of my English teachers, I won't name her, but one of my English teachers, I absolutely adored her. She taught me for the last 2 years at secondary school for my GCSEs, and she pushed me to carry on with my writing, because at that point I was writing fan fiction, and I'd give it her, she'd take it home and she'd read it, and she'd bring back and she'd say, "You've got a brilliant imagination, this, that and the other." And she kind of pushed me towards that as well. And like I said, I had my form tutor and several of my teachers were all science teachers, and they all saw that I had this knack for science, so they kind of pushed that. Those are the two avenues I had. I wasn't good at PE, as you can guess. I am overweight, but I've never been good at PE ever. Although me and another girl in my school did surprise our PE teachers, because we have this thing called cross country, where we'd run quite a long circuit. And this one year, out of everybody that got within the first 4 that got back, 3 of us were overweight, completely shot the PE teacher. She's just like, well, they were expecting you guys not to be the first. And me and this other girl, we were like 2 of the bigger people in the year, and we were like, I don't know, but that was the same year that I started weightlifting as well. So that's a different story. And then I went to college, did qualifications in science, in biology, chemistry, and physics, and then I went to university and studied forensic science and criminology, which I absolutely loved. And because this is weird, because people don't understand this, I did forensics, which is scene examination, learning about the human body, learning about DNA, learning about document analysis, all that. You also learn about case analysis. My teacher, he's now a teacher of the same department, but at a university literally not far from here in Leeds, because I'm in York. He's a former police officer. I think he was a police officer for at least 10 years or so. And he taught us how to break down criminal cases. But he's also an anthropologist, so he kind of did both classes, which was great. And then I did that, and then I did criminology, which is the social aspects of criminalism. So it's like how certain classes are likely to commit certain crimes, and how if you don't say something about something, it could be classed as tacit consent. It's all weird stuff like that. But it was quite interesting. And I was also doing, because you have like electives in each year. I think you can get two each year. And I did a lot of psychology in my electives, which was great, because they did some forensic psychology courses. It was intense, but it was good. So it was an intense 3 years, but I enjoyed it. Like I say, we'd do stuff like true cast impressions, and we'd do our own DNA, and it was great. And I remember in anthropology once, we were looking at these bones, and the teacher, I won't name him, but the teacher says, one of these bones on one of these tables is 2,000 years old. Guess who ended up with the bone that was 2,000 years old? This one. And it was a skull that somebody had dropped at some point, so all the sutures at the top had come open. So we thought it was a kid, but it wasn't. It was a small adult, so it wasn't a child. We thought it was a child because the sutures weren't closed. It was what are called the cold sutures, but they're not. The wavy lines on your skull, they hadn't fused, or when it had dropped, the fuse had just literally popped. So it looked like it was a child because it was small and it had popped. So, but yeah, that was weird. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, I was definitely one of the first to go to higher education. It wasn't cheap. I was lucky because I was working class, so I did get, I guess you could call it sort of like a grant. I got my student fees paid for because my mum was of a low income, so, and it didn't include my biological dads or my stepdads. It just went off my mum's, because I can't remember whether they were married at the time or not. I can't remember, but it was great. It really was great, and I really enjoyed it. And I am proud to be one of the first. There's a whole story behind this, which is the topic for another video. It's the video that I've teased a few times, but I have to get myself in the right mind. And there's a reason behind why there's a big gap in my knowledge, which I'll explain in another video. Now this leads into the issues of, in a way, people dropping out of college, school, and university. I know college and university is the same thing in other countries, but in this country they're slightly different. So, to do YouTube. Now, if you have an established channel with a certain amount of followers, and you have at least your high school, as you guys call it in America, or as we call it here, our secondary school education, which is your GCSEs, or GED, as you guys call it in America, then fine, drop out, because you can always pick up afterwards. But there have been a few YouTubers, not that big. I'd probably say, okay, big when you compare them to me, who's got like 14 subscribers and they've got like 2,000 or 3,000, then yeah, they are bigger than me. But they have a very small following, and they just drop out of school to do YouTube. And it's like, yeah, but I don't have time to do my videos when I'm doing schoolwork. And it's like, well, you could say the same about anybody who's got a full-time job. Anybody who works a full-time job. Right, I'll use two popular YouTubers to explain this. You have Queen of Kaboom. Double check how many followers she's got. Queen of Kaboom. She has 52,000 subscribers. She has a full-time job, and she uploads videos. I'd probably say once a day, once every other day. And then you've got the girls over at Living Rosa. They have 57,000 nearly subscribers, and they still have their jobs. The Living Rosa girls, both of them work. They have a child and they have another 2 on the way. But they have jobs. They have something to fall back on should they need it. A lot of these smaller YouTubers that are literally dropping out of school to go to do YouTube, to do social media jobs, to me is reckless. Yes, I know you can get your GCSEs and your GEDs at another stage in life, but your brain, when you're young, your brain absorbs more information than it is when it's older. I've found that even now, and I'm only 34. So it's weird that people are like, yeah, but I don't have time to do this, and I don't have time to do that, and I don't have time to do this, and I don't have time to do that. And it's like, so that's life. Just because you want to do YouTube doesn't mean and you've got a couple of thousand subscribers, doesn't mean that you're gonna carry on increasing in subscriber count. Doesn't mean you're going to carry on being of that level or going up. YouTube will only last for so long. It's done really well to last this long, and a lot of people have made a job out of YouTube. But the people that are making a serious job out of YouTube have over 100,000 subscribers, easy. And to me, some of the people that haven't finished school and they're doing YouTube, to me it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Because if that was my kid, it'd be like, no, you're not dropping out of school. But then again, that's just me. But that's probably because I had it ingrained in me that if I wanted to be anything in life, I need at least some form of an education behind me. We didn't find out I was dyslexic till I was 18, so that was obviously, we didn't realise that. But when I spoke to the teacher from my primary school, who I know pretty well, I spoke to her, and I told her that I've been told I had that I've been tested and discovered to have dyslexia. She went, "Oh, that makes sense." But yeah, to me, the whole dropping out of education to me is idiotic. It really is idiotic, and it's foolish, because YouTube won't last forever, and only those people that have got themselves money in the bank, and a substantial amount of money at that. And by that, those people, I'm talking about Superwoman, Jenna, Jenna Marbles, Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, they're of the level where they've got multiple of millions of subscribers, where they're actually using the brains, and they're actually creating a business around their channels and around who they are. Markiplier does a lot of charity live streams. He does a lot of conventions and things like that, and he also does a lot of different edits, and he has a team of people that work for him. Jenna Marbles, although she does do one thing which to me doesn't make sense, which she rents and she's not bought a house. But to her, she says it makes more sense to rent at the minute because she doesn't want to buy just yet, which is fine. But she's not spending her money foolishly like other YouTubers are, particularly ones of I think some of them are not much younger than me, but there are some YouTubers, a lot of family vloggers, who as soon as they get a little bit of money, they're buying these huge houses. They've got 4 or 5 cars. I'm not naming names. I will not name names, but there are a few, and you just think to yourself, what the hell? But yeah, to me, dropping out of education is foolish, and it's foolish as hell. And some of these YouTubers show the lack of education when they make videos and repeat bigoted and flawed knowledge behind them. Again, I'm not going to name names, but I think you can guess a couple of the people I'm on about. Anyway, that's my video for tonight. I'm going to stream on Twitch shortly once I've uploaded this, and I will catch you all later. Have fun. Oh, and I've set up my second channel. I will leave the link up in the information bar. I'm going to edit the podcast I already have on this channel. I'm going to edit that podcast, pop that onto the other channel, and then I think I'm going to do a couple of tutorials tomorrow night if I can figure out how with my phone. So hopefully with a bit of luck, there should be some tutorials on there shortly. If there's anything you want me to address with relation to YouTube shopping or notification or education in general, or if you're confused about the differences between the UK and the US in our education systems, please leave that down below and I will be happy to answer. Have a good day, and I'll catch you later. Bye.